just take a minute to think about what it must have been like to be in William's shoes and come to America for the first time. And I can't even imagine what it must have been like to see that big wind farm compared to his little homemade windmill. Definitely a remarkable story of serving others and leading with limited resources, but with remarkable success. Now we'll briefly open up the webinar for discussion, and we'll reflect on William's story and discuss how he lives the principles of servant leadership. As a heads up, we have selected a few offices to help us out with each of these questions. And that first office has been Grand Junction. So Grand Junction, you get the honor and distinction of having the first question here. And looking at the first principle of leadership, how do you think that William values people and relationships? Grand Junction, are you with us?
We're here, but I'm letting them answer.
If you need a moment, that's fine. Take your time.
How does the guy value people relations? Oh, okay.
Well, he looked at what was needed for his family and his community and started there.
And even though he dropped out of school, he saw that, in Africa, they didn't have much means of electricity or anything, so, he found a way to generate that by building a windmill from household items and things around the place.
Yeah, that's really good insight. I mean, you could definitely see that he put his family and friends in his community before himself, even sacrificing, schools for the sake of the farm and to help out.
Yep.
Does any other office or anyone have anything else to add? How William valued people and relationships?
All right, now we'll call on the Green Bay office. How did William utilize personal influence?
We're discussing it. We'll be on shortly.
Okay, take your time.
One of the things is that, in effect, he was a leader in his community, small community, and he was able to use his influence as a member of the community to convince others that this was an important endeavor, because toward the end there he got others to help him. So his influence, his personal influence, was able to accomplish his goal.
Yeah, excellent. By building the windmill, just some simple things that we utilize each and every day and probably take to granted to some extent as far as electricity and just local radio stations. By building the windmill, he is able to generate power as well as water, and from that, radio station. And with that, living in a village and not having those items to utilize each and every day, and then having someone invent something and take a chance on that, provided personal influence within the community and the farm and the village of those things. Does anybody else have anything to add?
All right, we'll move on. Is Rapid City on the line?
Yes, we're here.
All right, this question's for you guys then. How do you think William recognized the purpose and the passion of people?
We're thinking that because he lived with them, they were his family, it was probably intuitive to him. He knew himself because he was a part of them.
Right, good answer. And anybody else have anything else to add? Okay, one of the big things with William is he did recognize that his family and his village needed certain things and how important it was for certain things, and one of those things happened to be the electricity and how dependent they were on certain aspects of things they didn't really have, and including the agriculture, because that was a big thing for them. So the agriculture was something that he played upon, and he also used what he knew his family and the village needed, and he went after that, and he drove to make that happen, and he really relied on the purpose and the passion that he was surrounded with to make it happen.
Okay, let's move on. Is Jackson, Kentucky on the line?
We are here.
Okay, well you're the lucky one to get the next question.
Thank you.
What example of a working culture built on trust did you see in the video?
Could you repeat that?
Sure. What example of a working culture built on trust did you see in the video? So how did trust come into play, in the servant leadership example in the video?
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Well, we were just talking about how he built the windmill without much support at first, but then he built trust along the way and brought the library book back, and the person questioning him wanted to go see it, and what else? He just built trust in the community along the way.
Yeah, that's an excellent answer. That's really exactly where the question was going. What struck me when I watched it was, and it's sort of an overarching leadership concept, which is you need ideas plus action, really, to get trust. And if William had just had ideas, and if he'd gone to the library and gotten a book about a windmill, but had never taken it through and actually succeeded in doing anything, he would have been a dreamer. He probably wouldn't have garnered much support, and he certainly wouldn't have had much trust from the community. But it was his action combined with the idea that built trust over time. And once people realized it was useful, they bought into what he was doing. And so does anyone else have anything else to add about the culture of trust that we saw in the video?
One other thing I'd like to add, if I can borrow a line from the movie Robots.
Sure.
The whole idea was to see a need and fill a need.
Yeah, which is exactly what he took an idea that probably a lot of the people in his village would never even have thought of or thought possible, and he saw the need and he followed it through and did great things with it. Great point.
This is John up in Cheyenne. The trust issue, though, if he was only successful with his neighbors when it worked, and they saw some benefit from it. So then they thought there was a lot of trust, but before that time, he had to prove himself first.
Yeah, absolutely. When he first started, he did not have a lot of following from the community. When he just had the idea, he actually had to do it and show people that there was a usefulness to what he was doing before they sort of bought into what he was doing. Anybody else?
Okay, the next question is Chicago Forecast Office on the line. Anyone from Chicago with us? Okay, I guess not. Believe it or not, we have an alternate office selected. Springfield. Oh, you're there? Chicago? Yeah. You almost got out of that. Okay,
no, we're not here.
You get the next question, which, moving down the principles of servant leadership here, is how did William support change and innovation?
Well, he brought electricity that enabled them to farm and do other chores that they couldn't do before.
That's exactly right. He, again, dovetails very nicely with a question before about him seeing the need and trying to fill that need even on his own.
It was kind of on necessity being the mother of invention. He needed the irrigation and the electricity, and he found a way to do it, and he went and did it on his own.
That's great insight. Does anybody else have anything else to add about change and innovation?
All right, the last question goes to Goodland. Is Goodland on the office call?
Yeah, Goodland's here.
Okay, our question to the Goodland office is, how did William mentor others?
It would seem that simply to mentor others, toward the end of the video, he explained what he wanted to do next, how he wanted to go on, what his plans were in the future. And simply by stating that, showing that he had success in the past can automatically encourage others to follow in his footsteps. And that can almost be a natural way to mentor others, is show people your successes and share with them what your plans are. He seemed to do that. It seemed to come natural to him.